Hello, everyone. I wanted to share behind the scenes of the business apps that I use to really organize my business, to organize my business and personal life. And there are also several of the apps and best practices that I teach my service professional community inside of my course, my business planning course, whether it's the online course or the business planning bootcamp that I do. I teach some behind the scenes of these apps as well. But of course, we learn it after we learn the importance of just business planning and getting organized in general. But I thought it'd be fun as I am preparing for a brand new year here in 2024. I'm just about done. So thank you so much for wanting to check out this video and learn more about kind of some behind the scenes on how you can get organized. And this is based on my app. So I'm going to show you my behind the scenes of what I use on a daily basis, pretty much to run. First, it was my accounting professional services firm for over 16 years. And then when I transitioned into a public educator, speaker, content creator, and I have my Master Books Learning Center, which is where all my courses and learning experiences live, I still use most of the programs, apps, and business best practices that I use as an accounting practitioner. I just use them a little bit differently. So this does really relate to most people in the service professional industry or that are providing some type of product or service where they're working on their own. They're working solo usually when they start before they build a team, and they need to streamline their systems to get work done. I call that streamlining your CEO systems, so that way they're working for you and you can just hit the road running and get to work. Okay, so if y'all are excited to watch this, then let's go ahead and check that out. So what have I done here? What I've done is I decided to go ahead and kind of take you through the journey of what my day looks like and what my year looks like and how I use these apps to essentially build out my business and even my personal life, because I'm also a mom and I have a lot of things going on personally. And so a lot of my business really blends into my personal life as well. So the first and foremost, most important program that I use, most important app and tool that I use every single day of my life is my calendar. So I live off of my calendar, but I don't only live off of my calendar. I do color coding. So I use color coding inside of my calendars to be able to see where my energy is going throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. And I love Google Calendar for this. So I've been using Google Calendar for many, many years. Of course, I also love it because the Google Suite allows you to work remotely. And so you can use it on your computer. You can use it on any mobile device. But I love the concept, and I'll just focus on the color coding because I know many of you use calendars already to schedule your business and your personal life. But the reason why I use colors is because at the beginning of the year, I have really scheduled out my entire year. So I have a manual process. This is actually something I teach in my business planning course. I have a manual process of really pulling out of my business and of my life and saying, okay, let me look at an entire year. Let me see what this year is going to look like. Let me start seeing where my energy is going to go throughout the year. What kind of projects do I have going on? What kind of engagements have I committed to? What kind of events are happening this year? All of that. And I put that all on my calendar. And each one of those tasks or time related projects have a color to them. So for example, if you see here on the right-hand side, whenever I'm doing something that's business development related, it falls in my business development color. So everything actually has a color. And so that way, when I finally start putting things on my calendar and I go and put everything on my calendar, I can clearly see the colors of what I'm doing for that week, for that day, for that month. And so that's why I use that. Now, if you pay for the Google Suite and the specific Google Workplace Suite, and if you pay for it, you can access this really cool option that's called Insights. So Time Insights allows you to see this right-hand side and allows you to see your business in color. It allows you to see the different categories that you have. It also allows you to see how much time you're spending in each one of those categories. super duper powerful in regards to being able to take back ownership of your time, of your energy, of your focus, and of your life. The next thing I always want to do on an annual basis is I want to make sure that I can get to the places, the files, the folders, the projects, the work quickly. So everything that lives that I work with, that I use in my business, lives on Google Drive. So I use Google Drive for everything. Next is Asana. So I live in Asana. That's pretty much where my entire world lives. So I use Asana to keep track of all of my projects. I build my projects in Asana. This is where all of my work gets done. And Asana is the opportunity for me not to only create the projects, create all the tasks, and now I know exactly what I need to do and I can check those off. But here's the power of using a project management tool the right way. The power of using a project management tool the right way for all of the work that you're doing, everything that you're responsible for, that you want to take it out of your head and you want to put it in a tool. The power is that you can actually go ahead and create what are called templates. So here's an example of a template. So here's a template. I'm just going to open it up for you really quickly here. And I'm going to have you see the whole template. So the concept of a template is if I, let's say, have a reoccurring task, a repeatable task I do over and over again. One of those examples is I do webinars and workshops. Every time I do a webinar and workshop as an educator, I have to remember the important information about it. I have to make sure I know the dates. I have all the important links. I have to send out a statement of work to go ahead and engage with this organization or platform that's providing me the opportunity to speak and have their webinar or workshop. I need to do the marketing, the promotion. I got to figure out the pricing. Then I actually have to do the work, which is the content creation, the brainstorming, the ideation, the creation, creating the images, all of that, all the way to finally having my final presentation, my final documents, and then going ahead and delivering. All of that has to be done every time I do a workshop, I do a webinar, I do another type of learning experience. Well, I don't have to worry about knowing what all those main umbrellas are because those umbrellas are already in here now. So now I just have to, let's say, open up one of these and say, okay, here's where I'm going to add all the information, all the logistics. And essentially in each one of those areas, this is a skeleton. And now all I'm doing is filling it out. So I don't have to remember all of the steps that I do for, let's say, creating a workshop. All of the steps are already in a skeleton known as a template, and now I'm just filling in the blanks. That's where you really need to take your project management tool to the next level. You want to make sure you can create templates or workflows inside your project management tool and that you can duplicate that process over and over and over again. And that's what creates a streamlined CEO system. That's what creates it to be streamlined because it's now so streamlined that you can just click on duplicate and do it over and over again. Also, on that note, you also can use these project management tools for even cooler things. For example, I use Asana to set all my goals up. So I have a goals board, and in that goals board, I go through an entire process. Again, I teach this in my business planning and goal setting course, in my business planning course, but I have a whole process in setting up my business plan. I'm thinking about the 4 elements of what it is that I want to do, really, figuring out where I want to put all of my energy. And then after that, basically, I create a goals board with all of my goals, everything that I want to do throughout the year, throughout all of the months. You can use your project management tools. Think about it. You can use your project management tools for more than just project management. You can really use it to the benefit of you managing your life, okay? And forever, pretty much for over a decade and more, I used Asana for all of that, for pretty much managing my entire life, until I got introduced to my next app, which is Notion. So Notion is the next app that I'm going to mention to you. So Notion is a app that honestly, it's super powerful. Also could be used as a project management app, but I really look at it as like a life management app. It's the app that you can create because it's database driven. You can really create or design this app to serve in many different ways. So if you go ahead and research Notion, Notion is really like the way they kind of introduce it at first. It's like this blank page or this blank canvas where you can really design it to whatever you want it to look like. Now, I had been introduced to Notion several years ago, and at first it felt overwhelming because it felt too much like a blank page. And so that's why I was like, I don't know if I want to go ahead and get all into Notion until one of my mentors, Seth David, created a course on Notion. When he created a course on Notion and he provided me some behind the scenes of what it was going to look like and how he was going to develop the Notion to serve really the solopreneur, that solo practitioner that has everything all over the place, and they want to have one hub where everything can live, their work, their client relationship management, their CRM, all of their links that they have to remember, all of the other data they collect, all of their bookmarks, all their resources, everything that we have in all these different places. He is basically teaching us how to create this one hub for everything. And that's where I was all in. I'm like, because even though I'm organized and I use different apps, I would love to have a starting point, somewhere I can start my life every single day. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of how I've been using Notion. So one area of Notion that I learned from Seth David, it's a huge part of his course, is this concept of having a daily journal, or almost like, think about it like having your notebook that we carry around all day and we put all kinds of notes on them, right? But in case you're like me, where you've been putting all kinds of notes and then you don't know where these notebooks are, or these notes don't end up anywhere after that. Like you need to still move this into either a project management tool, or maybe there's a scheduling appointment I have to put on here. This is all stuff I have to do. So I have to move it to some type of to-do list, or maybe several to-do lists. So this was a brilliant concept that Seth David really started with when it came to Notion. And from there, he's really blown it up. And that was this concept of having a daily journal. So having your daily notepad that you already have, probably physically, instead have it here inside of Notion. So for example, yesterday on Tuesday, January 30th, I opened up my note, okay? And what I can do is I can have this note open all day long. And the concept is that you do have it open all day long because you have it from awakening all the way to going to sleep. And because of the fact that that's the concept here, you can also set yourself up for success. You can do what, many people talk about, the $1 million mindset and having that amazing morning where you're setting yourself up for success and you're having an awesome day the rest of the day, and you're even ending the night with gratitude. And so that's the concept as well here, is that you basically have a daily journal that helps you wake up, helps you get ready for the day, helps you think about what's going to happen during the day. During the day, you can take notes all day long, and you can use these cool little features that Seth created. Really, he's kind of built it out already in a template. Talking about template, he's already built all the template for you. And basically what you're doing is you're making notes throughout all day in this really easy to use. And by the way, it is very easy to use. So super easy to use. And at the end of the day, you can say your goodnight. You can plan out the rest of your day for tomorrow, and then you move on. But the power here is that now every single day, and you can see I've been using this for a couple months now, every single day you actually have your journal. So even though you may love this, you don't really need this anymore because you have it all in an electronic journal. So now those are all of my absolute daily apps. I now want to just quickly share a few of the other apps that actually allow me to continue to serve my clients, and again, build those CEO systems, those streamlined systems that are working even when I'm not there. 17 Hats is a great example of it. Just over these last few hours, I was actually doing a training for the last 3 hours. And during those 3 hours, I was able to capture some new leads, some new possible prospective clients or prospective leads that will work with me. And basically, I was able to do that because they went to my 17 Hats. So 17 Hats is a lead capture tool that you can create to start capturing those prospective clients. You could put them through that funnel, that path for them to start seeing if they are a right fit for you. And then, of course, an app like 17 Hats that's over 10 years old has created everything else to serve you when it comes to taking a lead and converting them to a client, engaging with them, getting paid with them, getting a contract signed, and then essentially building out the workflow to serve that client. That's basically what 17 Hats does. The last couple of apps I want to share with you here, of course, Canva. So all solopreneurs, all business owners for that matter, definitely want to get themselves in Canva. It's that one-stop shop to create graphics, to create designs, to create presentations, everything you can think of. And it truly is so user friendly. Now, I don't say don't still use graphic designers, don't still use people that are going to help you with your content design. I still use people that help me with my content design, but I love to use Canva for areas that I can either build out on my own, or I also have my daughter who started working with me early on in her junior high years. Now she's about to graduate from high school, so she works with me still, and she became an expert at Canva. So also bringing in apps that are so user friendly like this can allow you and inspire you to have your family members help you, your kids help you, and that's been amazing for me with Canva. And the last thing I wanted to share, of course, I'm not going to open it up because it has a lot of personal information in it. I also use Slack. So I use Slack for a communication all day long. I prefer not to use email other than when I'm obviously getting to know people and the whole lead to capture up to client process. Usually email is best at that point. But everyday communication with all of my community members, whether they're part of Master Your Books or whether they're my collaborative partners, we all get into Slack, which is a communication tool that you can use. It looks like this here on the bottom, Slack, and I use that all day long, and it's amazing to stay out of emails and not allow yourself to go into the email rabbit hole where you spend hours and hours of your week working on emails. And the last thing I'll share here is another way for you to see where you are using apps, because sometimes you're like, oh, Mariette, I didn't realize I actually use quite a bit of apps too. So one thing that you can do from time to time in regards to creating your, app stack, because you are making an intentional choice on which apps you want to use for your business. So another thing that you can actually do is that you can open up your browser like I did right now, and you can kind of see, okay, so where am I spending most of my time? I love how Google basically tells you what are my most recent apps that I opened up, because that's pretty much what I opened up today. So I use Thinkific for my learning platform. That's where all my courses are. I use Gmail for my email. I'm obviously on social media. That's why I'm doing a YouTube video. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram. And so sometimes you'll see here that, but to be honest, I don't like to see that I've been there recently, because I try to only be on social a few times, and specifically for marketing or promotional reasons. And they're very intentional times during the week that I want to go on there. This one here is my Active Campaign. So for my email provider, I use Active Campaign. Other people use Constant Contact or MailChimp, ConvertKit, MailLite. I personally use Active Campaign for my email newsletters and for my campaigns when I'm promoting a new product launch or a new offering. I also, and then here you can see that it's my Asana. So that's another way for you to see what your tech stack is. Hopefully this helps you to realize that there's a lot of behind the scenes going on for all of us, right? And we also don't want it to feel overwhelming. We want to be excited about the programs that we're choosing to use for our business. And we have the ability, this is important, to choose what we want to use for our business. So many times, let's say someone told you to go into an app, or maybe you're one of those squirrel, you get the whole shining object syndrome and you just get too excited about something. I've always told my business owners, specifically my solo business owners, my solopreneurs that are trying to do too many things, a tool is only as good as you're going to use it. And if it's intentionally chosen by you, and if you can stay consistent with it. And so that's just hopefully a good strategy that you can take in regards to bringing in those apps and using them to really enhance, improve, and help you, create the sustainable business, a profitable business, but more importantly, a business that you love, that you're excited about. Believe it or not, I showed you all those apps and I love all of them. I love them all. I love my calendar. I love my Drive. I love my Notion. I love my Asana. I love my Canva, probably more than I should. And all of the other apps, I'm really happy with them. And I really feel like they're serving me. And if I feel like they're serving me and my business and my personal life, when I have things that are blended, like Notion's a good example where it serves my business and my personal life. Same with Asana, it serves some of my business and my personal life. Then I'm willing to go that extra mile to learn about the new enhancements, learn how I can go back and clean it up and reset it up. Because sometimes, as well, the more you decide to go all in on a business application or a software, you also realize you may not have set it up the right way. Okay. Give yourself some grace, give yourself an opportunity to be like, okay, but at least I did it. So allow yourself to be like, okay, not a big deal. I spent like 3 months doing this. I really like it, but I still feel like I'm going in circles. That's when, my friends, you need to invest. You need to invest in an educator or an influencer or some leader in the space that has created courses in your app. For example, when it came to Asana, I spent a lot in learning Asana, specifically from Louise Henry. And I'll go ahead and drop the link to her course, Up Love with Asana. The example of Seth David, learning Notion for 17 hats. I've had many peers and I have several hours of masterminds learning how to set up our 17 hats. I'm even part of the 17 Hats Ambassador Program. So now I'm learning even more about 17 Hats. And so there's going to be those apps that you're going to have to go even further all in. So that way you can really make sure that they get developed for you. They get developed to serve you. And guess what? You may even get to a point like me where you love it so much that you want to teach it. So that's awesome. There's another income stream for you, or just a great opportunity for you to grow your audience and give back to them, like what I'm doing today. Okay, everyone, I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.